All right. Slopes of parallel and perpendicular lines. Pillar and Jake begin climbing to the top of a 100-foot monument at the same time along two different steps that they're climbing at basically the same rate. Okay? The table shows their distances above the ground. How many feet did each student climb after 10 steps? Well, does it say 10 steps on there? No. So what we have to do is we have to figure out the rate at what they're going up. Now, I'm going to take the first and the last one with this guy. Okay? So, this is your x, this is your y. And so find the rate he's going up, that's the slope. So the slope of this is 14 minus 2 over 25 minus 1. How many feet did he climb? Yeah, we can do it this way. Feet did he climb up after so many steps? All right. So if we do it this way, we get 12 over 26 is my slope. So he goes 12/26 of a step. Nah, that doesn't look right. Okay, let's try it a different way. After 10 steps, which is right in there, let's take the average of these two. Because the average of these two, 3 plus 17 divided by 2, would be 20 over 2, which is 10. So the average of these two is 3 plus 10 divided by 2, which is 13 over 2, which is 6.5. That person went 6.5 feet. So the average of these two would not be 10. So we can't use that. But after 7 steps, he already went 8, which is higher than his 6.5 that he went. So, how many feet does each student climb after 10? Well, if he climbs 7, so halfway in between here is 4. What's halfway in between 5 and 8? 6.5. So if we go up by 4 and go, or up by 3, if we go up by another 3, he should go up by another 1.5. So he should be at 9.5. So he should be at 9.5 feet after 10 steps, and Pillar should be at 6.5 feet after 10 steps. Will they be at the same height? Well, no, we figured that out. They will not. All right. A hill and a gondola are 20 feet above the ground, and they both go up this hill at the same rate. So the hill is perfectly going at that slope. For every 1 foot you go up, you go 2 feet over. 1 foot up, 2 feet over, and so on. And then the gondola line also is 1 feet up, 2 feet over, but it's 20 feet above the ground. Okay, so what happens here, what do you notice about their slopes? They're the same. Parallel lines have the same slope. Parallel lines will always have the same slope. They'll have different y-intercepts, because if they had the same slope and the same y-intercept, they would be the same line. So they have to have different y-intercepts, but parallel lines have the same slope. Okay? So parallel lines have the same slope, and if you have two vertical lines, because vertical lines have an undefined slope, if the slopes are both undefined, then those are also parallel to each other. So parallel lines have the same slope. So are M and Q parallel to each other? Well, to figure it out, we look at this point and this point. Okay? Looks like the slope of M equals, you go up 1 to the right 3. The slope of Q, this point it goes through, and this point it goes through. It goes up 2 and to the right 5. Are those slopes the same? No. So M and Q are not parallel. Let's look at K and N. K goes through this point, and it goes through this point. So we go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the slope of K is -5/4. N goes through this point, and N goes through this point. So it goes down 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1, 2, 3. The slope of N is -4/3. Are they the same? No. None of these lines are going to be parallel to each other. None of these lines are quite parallel. Are these lines parallel? Well, this one goes through this point and this point. So the slope is 1/3. This one goes through this point and this point. What's its slope going to be? 1/3. They are parallel. If you have perpendicular lines, the product of their slopes is -1. Okay? So if one has a slope of 2/3, the other one would have a slope of a -3/2. They have to be opposite signs and reciprocals of each other, because opposite reciprocals multiply to be -1. Because if you take 2/3 times -3/2, the 3's cancel to be 1, the 2's cancel to be 1. You get -1/1, which is -1. Or if you multiply them right away, you get -6/6, which is -1. Okay? So, they are opposite reciprocals. Okay? And a horizontal and vertical line are perpendicular. So, are any of these perpendicular? Well, let's look at J and K first. Let's find the slope of J. J goes through here, and it goes through here. So it goes down 3 to the right 2. So it's -3/2. Let's find the slope of K. K goes through here, and it goes through here. So K goes up 2 to the right 3. Are they opposite reciprocals? Yes. So J is perpendicular to K. J is perpendicular to K, and this is your perpendicular symbol, and upside down T is your perpendicular symbol. Parallel is 2 straight lines. Let's look at M and N. Goes through there, goes through there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So the slope of M is -1/4. The slope of M is, goes through there, goes through there. +1/3. Oh, this is -4/1, not 1/4. -4/1, which is -4. Are those opposite reciprocals? No, they are not perpendicular. What is the equation of the line that goes through this point and is parallel to this? Well, what's the slope of the line that goes through this if they're parallel? 1/2, not 1/2 x, 1/2. So the slope that we want is 1/2. Our point is 4, 1. From your note cards, what's point slope form? Because we wrote this down on Monday. Chris, why don't you have a note card? You have no clue where it went. Well, let's give you another one, and then you can copy somebody's note card who has everything that they need on it. So, point slope form. Jackie has it written down already. It is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, where this one is x1, y1. So you go y minus 1 equals the slope of 1/2 times x minus 4. If we distribute, y minus 1 equals 1/2 times 1/2 x minus 2. And then if we add 1 to each side, y equals 1/2 x minus 1. So minus 1 has a y-intercept of 1, a slope of 1/2 would be like this. See how it goes right through that point? And they are parallel. Now let's do one for perpendicular. Okay? So if it's perpendicular to this line that has a slope of 1/2, what's the opposite reciprocal of 1/2? The perpendicular line would have a slope of -2. We still want to go through 4, 1. So then we do point slope form again. So y minus y1 equals my slope, -2 times x minus x1. So y minus 1 equals -2x plus 8. If we add 1, y equals -2x plus 9. That's the slope, that's the equation of the perpendicular line. So 9 is way up here somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it goes through here, and you go down 2 to the right 1. 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 And see how it goes perfectly through there? And those are perpendicular. They form a right angle. Okay? So, as long as you know how to find the perpendicular slope, you'll be good. So parallel lines, perpendicular lines, find the equation of a parallel line, you use the same slope. Perpendicular line, you use the opposite reciprocal slope. Okay? All right. So I will put the assignment out there. You'll have the rest of class to work on it. On Friday, we'll do a chapter review and the practice test. Monday, we'll take a vocab quiz and the chapter test. Okay, so that's what's coming up in here. Parent-teacher conferences next week, so I'm sure I'll see all of your parents' lovely faces. Or maybe 1/8 of your parents' lovely faces, because parents don't come to parent-teacher conferences much anymore. Mr. Tony. Yes, you may. You can sign out. All right, it's out there.